as new GCCs coming up, given that we are looking at some level of saturation in existing cities, etc., there is a need to look at development of physical, digital and talent infrastructure in existing and new cities. This will help attract more organizations into India, and it will also help expedite the setup time, which currently ranges from anything between 6 to 9 to 12 months, right? So it will bring down that time. Related to that is the input tax credit that's available on construction of immovable property. Now, if that is made available, hopefully that will drive further investment into expansion of current capacities, or bringing in more GCC capacity into India. The second thing that the government can potentially look at is around safe harbor and APA rulings. Since the time safe harbor came into existence in 2017, there have been few GCCs that have opted for it, and the reasons are twofold. One is it is considered that the rates are higher than benchmark, and the second is from a coverage perspective, it's not available to all the GCCs. So the government can actually look at expanding the coverage and also relook at the rates, safe harbor rates, to see how closer to the benchmarks it can be, with some premium that can be there for the government. And at the same time, the government can also look at fast tracking the APA process, so that there is a defined timeline in which some of this gets done. The third, from a government budget perspective, is that currently the GST refund is not available on capital goods that actually go into export of services, and the government can relook at that, because that creates some working capital issues for the GCCs. So overall, if I look, GCCs are poised for good growth in the future, but clearly from a government perspective, there are 3-4 things that the government can do to help facilitate that growth, essentially around infrastructure, around safe harbor and APA policies, as well as looking at some input tax and GST refund being made available to GCCs that will help drive further growth.